Hello. Okay, I have been doing some reading and some researching, as well as writing down some repeating messages, signs, synchronicities, dreams, different time points that seem relevant for some reason. And so I am truly not sure how this is going to weave together. So I'm just going to start and see kind of what happens. As I said that, one of the cats that I'm staying with currently just popped up on the table. His name is Slider, and he's gray and white, in case that's relevant for anyone. Any of those things. And he doesn't come out a lot. He will come up to me at certain times, but he generally keeps to himself. And then when he does pop out, he's super lovey. Yeah. Okay. So today I noticed as I was doing some reading, like I mentioned, there were just certain experiences that I've had, and of course what I'm about to say comes in many layers, but I feel like there's just this culmination point of connecting dots in the next layer of stripping back the veil, for lack of a better phrase. And last night I did something very out of my comfort zone. And I was asking for just some sort of confirmation for doing this, even though it's something I do myself often, all the time, but I don't generally share it. And I received a really, really solid confirmation, less than 24 hours after asking. And so I just wanted to share that because that may be relevant for someone. Maybe someone is going through something similar, you want to do something that feels really good to you, or something maybe you do all the time, or that you want to step into, but perhaps you just want some sort of confirmation. Now, I did this before I received the confirmation, so I'm not quite sure if it's leap and then, it will be shown to you. It might be different for everyone. And so a lot of what I am starting to speak about, or have been speaking about, is really sort of I'm pausing because I really want to express it in the best way I can. There's been a lot of personally just doubt in what I've been feeling and wanting to express. And so for me, these confirmations and validations have just been so helpful. Not everyone may be going through that, but there's just this newness that I've been feeling of kind of leaping. I want to take a step back because I think I've been experiencing this for a long time, and of course, I was saying before, these layers are stripping back, and so it's becoming more cohesive, I guess you could say. And okay, right before I started this audio, I clicked on a video to, I think it was a tantric sound bath. I don't know if it said bath, it was just tantric sound. And there were 111 comments. And then I was guided to only listen to that for a little bit and then switch to something else. And then I found something else. And then I found something else, a third or a fourth thing. And I looked down just now, and it says 999. And so, yeah, that wrapping up of I'm hearing like a time grid. So like a lot of the intuitive and internal experiences. Now the ice in the freezer is moving around. I don't know if you could hear that. Yeah, so there seems to be some movement, and I'm starting this really slowly. Like, if I'm speaking really slowly, it's because honestly I had a little bit of a really exciting last hour of reading, and then I wanted to start this transmission, and I was just like, wow, I feel like I have so much that I want to express that I almost like was still and silent. Like, it was like I had to ground myself and just trust that what's meant to come out now will. And so with that ice and the movement, I'm seeing the rune Isa. If anyone is listening to this and wants to share, you can like Google if you're not familiar. It's ISA, I believe, Isa rune, and the meaning. But essentially it's like preserving something on ice, and then in that time of the melting will reveal what has been preserved. I don't know that like that's like the most classic definition, but that's what I'm being shown right now. And yeah, so with this 999 number and then the 111, it's like this time cycle, because I was writing down different dates that stuck out to me. And 2017 was, I believe, the furthest back year that I wrote down. I should say years, not dates specific. And I believe that was, a 7-year time cycle. So there's something about the year in 2017 and the preservation of this time cycle that is now wrapping up. For me, 111 is generally like a manifestation number of like your mental capacity is speeding up and your thoughts are grounding more quickly. So it also was shown to me in an out-of-body experience as a gateway. Let me see if I'm being guided to tell this story. I was not expecting to tell this today at all. Okay, I'm not going to tell the full thing, but there's something just about like playing with time and playing with the idea of your relationship to time. I do have a video that I made called the Aurora Time Spiral, I think it is. And I was just reading about some of these topics in the Ascension Glossary from Lisa Renee. So I was kind of trying to feel out how I wanted to present some of this stuff, and I do plan on continuing to talk about these themes. And I just wanted to say that I want to make sure that I do a justice to try and bring through these concepts essentially through the personal lens that I have just remembered some of these things, and like I said, I always then ask or am led to external teachings or research or ideologies, etc., to give root and verbiage etc., to what it is I'm experiencing. And so a lot of the concepts I talk about come through my own experiences, and then being led to sources or resources to expand on what it is that I have been experiencing. I don't know why I explained that, but I felt the need to. So, yeah. Okay. I made some notes, so I might be like referring to that as I go. And the other day I was looking up that it's been pretty cloudy where I've been. Flood warnings and lots of rain. And so, yeah, this like, again, this purification idea. And right, oh my God, I was talking about the ice and Isa and how there's like, yeah, this like melting of this ice, however you want to take it, emotionally, mentally, it might be different for each person, metaphorically. And yeah, it's like what happens then when the ice melts, right? You have all this water. And so this purification process, this doesn't feel like a like deep dive of needing to like perform healing work. I mean, if you feel called to, of course, like trust yourself and etc. But this is more about like after this purification. So right now you might be in a purification process. Like I know lately I've been really feeling called to just like move my body more and maybe switch up some of my eating habits and incorporate things that just really work in conjunction with my body of feeling more vitality and exuding more vitality. And so that could be going on, as well as just being a little bit more. It's funny, like I feel like I'm still needing a lot of rest at times, but then I'm also getting these like surges in creative ideas and energy, and actually taking like inspired action with that. So it's like this intermingling of, it's not, how do I want to say this? It doesn't feel as like separate anymore. Like it feels more like interwoven. Like I just go with how I'm feeling, and it's like leading me and like weaving together without so much like preparation and thought and planning. So perhaps if you're drawn to this, maybe this is something you are experiencing yourself, or you're stepping into, or maybe it's something that you've like I was talking about earlier, like intuitively have felt but haven't quite figured out how to step into that yet. Or maybe again you have and you're just looking for some validation or confirmation, or just some verbiage to express maybe to yourself or to others like what it is that's happening. This is not at all what I expected to be talking about. So yeah, I'm just going to keep going and see what else comes through. Anyway, I was talking about the other day, and I was crying, and I saw so clearly in the clouds. I wasn't even intending to scry. I just looked up and I saw D-A and then O-A, and then I heard D-O-A. So any of those letters, initials, however that might apply to you. I just heard numerology, so maybe someone here is really like starting to dive deeper into numerology. Because I was thinking how I believe each letter has a numeric value. So yeah, if you're someone who is into that, feel free to like comment what the numeric value for D, A, and O is. I'm pausing again. Thanks for your patience. Okay, and then the numbers, speaking of numerology, I wrote down 10, 10, 333, and 108. And as I said that, my computer screen just went black. So that's been happening. And I wrote down next to those, time travel, impermanence, butterfly, and emperor penguin and dragon. So I thought I was going to go into why all of those things came up, but for some reason I am not being guided to do that at this moment, so perhaps it will come up later, but any of those things could be relevant. Now, let's see. And as soon as I said that, the cat slider came back, the one who came right when I opened the audio earlier. I just heard the phrase in my head, masculine intelligence, and I know there's like so much emphasis right now on the words masculine and feminine, and there's just been like, just saying it, I got really tired. So I was like, can we try it today and not steer into that, because it seems to be like, I don't know, I feel like it just like needs a break or something. But there is something to be said about, when I was looking into the Ascension Glossary, some of the things that I was drawn to was what they call the tri-wave, T-R-I. And I always talk about like what happens, or not, maybe not always out loud, but in my internal seeking and journeying, I'm always so interested in, we always talk about balancing or bridging, weaving, etc., the masculine and feminine. It's like, okay, then what happens? And I've written a few things about it like over the years, and as I continue to do so, it, starting to, like I said today, I like connect more dots. And anyway, so I feel like that concept is coming through a lot right now in the forms of, like, for me personally, and what I'm feeling for the collective that may be drawn to this is like through, light, sound, color, and through the, like I was talking about earlier, the next layer of the veil, sort of falling away. And there's what I did last night, I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit when I posted these 2 shorter videos of essentially it was, if you look at it, I think I labeled them light language after dark, and then like visual light codes after dark or something. And the concept of, what was happening, like why I decided to share that was, well, because I was very guided to, even though I was kind of resistant. And it's like someone may look at that and just see a black screen, because I'm literally filming in the dark, like a white wall in the dark. But when I looked at it, like really looked at it, like zoomed in, I saw these like waves of beings and color, like forming and shape-shifting, and orbs and codes coming through. It's funny, the screen went black again. And so I wanted to bring this up because one of the light language, I've never posted light language before, that was my first time, and I made a separate video a few minutes later, and I realized like my throat was closing up, and I realized that it was kind of about the next level of, like, for lack of a better phrase, authentic expression. And like for me, that's something I experience all the time, and if you want to know more about it, you can listen to the videos. But to like share it was really, really hard. And so I feel like there's this like next level, like I was saying before, this leap into next level, whatever that is for you. And again, you may have already done that, or you're starting to do it, or it's like an amalgamation of experiences that are like building up to this. And I feel like that is calling in this this purification in conjunction with this is like bringing into the next like, I'm hearing like the next level of the game. Like you're entering into this next phase of consciousness, into this next time spiral. And so there's a lot of crystalline DNA activation layers and aspects that are kind of coming through, and I'm trying to see how I want to weave it together, because a lot of the things that I wrote down, it feels very like technical, and for some reason, even though I love that, I don't know that this specific transmission is going to go so technical. But I just wanted to say that if anyone is more interested in like the higher ascension mechanics, and like I said, I do plan on bringing more of that into my transmissions, or these transmissions. I shouldn't say these transmissions. And I just wanted to say, like, if you're not familiar already, like, you know, you can look into some of the different references that I sometimes will post underneath of the video in the description box, or if I talk about it. And I just want to say, like, I think I'm just someone who's so, like, interested in all of those layers, and I know that right now it's not always the main, I'm getting the word necessity. And so, yeah, I just wanted to say that. But yeah, if you do want to go like further into it, or you're really interested, like, you can message me or comment, however YouTube works. And, you know, I do like one-on-one sessions, or even like group sessions or small group sessions. So I think I'm going to start creating like containers for these spaces. But in this moment, like I said, I was just so excited because I have all the stuff written down and I wanted to go into it. But I think what I'm going to do is just kind of pull a little bit from each talking point or research point in conjunction with some of my own experiences, and just kind of let that come out. So if you're still listening to this, thank you, because I am doing my best to navigate how these different layers like want to come through. And again, this might be something you are also kind of going through yourself in your own personal way. So, okay, let's see. So something I noticed recently, speaking of the tantric music that I was feeling called to talk about with the 111 number, I've noticed there's been like an increase in like, I want to say like fantasizing, daydreaming in relation to the sacral chakra. So take that, how that resonates for you. And it could be multiple things, you know, sexual experiences, creativity, like just passionate sensuality, like wanting to like really dive deeper into like really feeling into the senses, using oils and different smells that make you feel excited, really like enjoying food, maybe on like a deeper level than you have been lately. Because like I said, I think a lot of us, or those who may be attracted to this collective, has kind of been going through this detoxing, purification. I'm hearing like the last year or two, just like almost like really purging out those like survival. I'm hearing survival codes. So like the survival codes is what we are hatching right now, but it's like it's been in those like survival like matrices or templates. And like knowing, I'm hearing like there's like a part of you that knew that like it was sort of like on its way out, and so it might have ramped up in order to try to like really take hold. But it's like, that's why, like, I know for me it's been like so, like I've been so tired the last year essentially, and yeah, so there's something about that, like as these more like survival templates are being flushed out, right? And with all this like purification, there's like this resurgence. And I'm not saying like the whole year you were just like miserable. That's not at all what I'm saying. But you know, there's just been this underlying energy, and I feel like a lot of like, I'm hearing that song from Paula Abdul, take 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Yeah, I think it's called Opposites Attract. That's so funny. So you can take that like internally, like your, you know, your own negative and positive, masculine, feminine, whatever you want to say, you know, the magnetism, the electrical system have been like kind of almost feeling like they're short-circuiting, but you're really just like rewiring like your literal cellular network. And so, yeah. And it's funny, earlier today, I was standing like in front of a mirror. I don't think I was looking in the mirror, I was just like in front of the mirror. And all of a sudden I heard the song from Michael and Janet Jackson. I think it's the only song they've ever recorded together, if I'm not mistaken. Scream. And there was like, I have not heard that song or thought about that song in so long, but it wasn't even just a song, it was like the video. Like I haven't seen the video in years, and it just like popped in my head so clearly. And I was like, I don't even know if this is correct because I haven't seen the video in so long. And there's something about that video. So then I watched it, and the part in my brain that I guess remembered, it was like, so, you know, it was the part where Michael Jackson was screaming, and then they showed Janet, and then like the glass like brace out. I think they're in like a spaceship or something. And like, you know, that video was so ahead of its time, like the whole concept. And apparently like people tried to talk them out of making it. And I think they wrote it like in their room, in one of their rooms together or something like that. But it's all about like injustices and like pressure from the external, like the media and all this stuff. I don't know, you can look into it if you want to, but I don't know why. So I watched the video like 2 times, and yeah, so there's something about, like I was talking about stepping into your more like desired expression, but feeling maybe like it's been a little tough. And I feel like that's such a great example. Like, you know, sometimes when you are maybe a little bit ahead of your time, I was talking about time matrix too, it can be really hard to just trust yourself, and people might not get it, and it feels like really lonely, and like I know it can feel really delusional, like in so many ways. So yeah, that just wanted to come up. And then, okay, you also maybe like smelling. I smelled someone's scent today, and I was like, whoa. And this happens all the time, but it was like while I was doing something to prepare for this video, so that could be relevant. I don't know what to call this, an audio, a video. I do plan on getting images in the video or recording myself. I don't know yet, but I know someone mentioned like, why is your screen, is it supposed to be black? And I'm genuinely learning as I go how to navigate content creation. So I guess this is more like a podcast at the moment, but anyway. So let's see. I wrote down 2017 Universal Ankh Body, ANKH. So someone may be working with the Ankh. The Universal Ankh Body is, according to the Ascension Glossary that I refer to a lot, they talk about it. One second, I'm trying to find something. It's essentially talking about like moving through consciousness. That's through the body, through the grids outside of time. That's a very, very quick synopsis of what they're saying, from my understanding. But anyway, working with the Ankh could be relevant for you. I know there's a lot of people remembering the Ankh and the flow of, if you want to look at it from like the grid perspective, through the body, people working with it as more of like a talisman, or I know in some tantric practices there's like I believe in the ancient Egyptian, excuse me, I'm just clearing through the throat right now. Ooh, I just got like a wave of heartburn. Excuse me. And I read somewhere that heartburn could indicate like holding down fear. And so there might be some sort of like, I heard aurora re-encryption. So I made a video the other day about that. Essentially like whatever this, it's like almost hard, I feel winded, like it's hard for me to talk. It's like whatever this internal fear, and I'm being shown a mirror. So if you're someone who feels connected to like that whole idea of like divine union, and this has been coming up a lot in the collective. I've been hearing a lot of people speak about this. I'm being shown a dream that I had where it's someone who I've noticed kind of reflects back a lot of these concepts to me. I had a dream where this person walked out of a mirror, like right up to me, and it was a really tall rectangle mirror, in case that's relevant for someone. And it felt very like, it wasn't just like a mirror. I mean, it was, but you know, they say murals. Maybe someone here does murals, because I don't know why I just heard that. Is that even a word, a mural? Sometimes I'm like, I don't even know if I'm saying English words. Yeah, this mirror portal, that they just walked right out of it, and it was just the portal. I keep saying portal. The mirror was so, like, I remember it being so big, in terms of like, again, it was like a large rectangle. And no, is that the right word? A rectangle? I'm very tongue-tied right now, so someone could be really going through this tongue-tied experience. It was a vertical rectangle, if that makes sense. And when they came out, I'm actually not being guided to tell the rest, so, but there's more. Maybe I'll tell it another time. Oh my God, and as I'm saying this, whoa, I just saw a red cardinal, like, fly. The way, I can't believe I even caught this. I'm looking out the window and it's like out of my purview, but I like went to stretch my hip to the left and I saw this like red cardinal just in that time fly from one, it was like on a lower branch and it flew up a little bit. So yeah, again, that like, I know these words, the masculine energy, there's like some sort of, for me, that's like a sign of, of that aspect anyway, of the like, I guess you can call it like mirrored counterpart reflection, if you will. Yeah, so that was a very fun surprise. So yeah, I feel like something is about to surprise, because just like the cat in the beginning, Slider, when he came out, like he just popped in and was like so affectionate, and then he just kept coming back. So I feel like there's some sort of like, and again, this could be a behavior, I saw a flash of light coming from somewhere. This could be a behavior pattern too, like within yourself. And of course, if it is, then it's something that's being mirrored back to you through someone else. And yeah, I just heard next stages of union. So I talked about before, like Heroes Gamos, and that concept, and how like this is like the whole idea of like journeying back home or back to wholeness within yourself, and then how your external reality like is co-created with yourself and your blueprints to then have these, you know, experiences will vary for everyone, but there's still this like common collective theme that has been showing itself over and over and over again to me, and I'm sure many other people, are these you know, these unions that keep, like, I've tried to shove it down, honestly, myself, and like it just keeps coming up. And so yeah, now I just noticed a yellow flower, so that could be relevant for someone. But even in this video, like I didn't want to talk about it, but it just literally keeps coming through. And you know, that's my own thing I'm working through, so thanks for your patience if you're listening to this. Oh yeah, and the song Dark Horse was in my head for like a full day, and that wanted to come through too, from Katy Perry, so that could be relevant for someone. And then another song, I know a lot of music that came through this morning, another one that I was not thinking about at all, and it just popped in my head. Love Takes Time from Mariah Carey. It's funny, and that video takes place on a beach. So I just saw someone put the trash out, and the number on their trash can is 910. So that number could be relevant for someone. But yeah, the 9-1 reduces to 10, and I had written down 1010. So okay, let's see. So we had 2017 and the Universal Ankh Body. So I wanted to mention that because there was something that came through. One of my first, I guess you can say, like, awakenings to, you know, that journey of remembering who we are, like on a, not just a, you know, the individual unique level, but both that and on a more like, I guess you can say, like, soul, spiritual, energetic, multidimensional, etc. And yeah, so 2017 was one of my first, like, really profound of this, like, again, this 7-year time cycle. And so I've been seeing 999 for a while, so the fact that I saw again today, and then, you know, 1010 being like the actual like celebration of that, you know, there's something about that. So in 2019, I believe it was 2018 or 2019, I went to Ireland. It wasn't like I wasn't supposed to go to Ireland, I was supposed to go to Scotland, and that didn't work out. So last minute I flew to Ireland, and I was coming from I was coming from Greece. I started in Albania, I went to Greece, and then I went to Ireland. I believe that's how it went. Just in case any of those places are relevant for someone. But I was reading about this okay. I'm going to read something I wrote down. Yeah, I believe it was 2019. So I went to this place in Ireland called, it was like maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes outside of Dublin. I'm going to butcher this. So if anyone from Ireland ever hears this, my apologies. It's spelled Howth, Haupt, I believe they say it or pronounce it, Hope. And according to the Ascension Glossary, there's this Mother Ark Stargate in Newgrange, Ireland. And I just, as soon as I saw that, I never heard of Newgrange, Ireland, but I was like, I feel like it was really close to where I was. I don't know why. So I Googled it, and it was like 40 minutes from where I stayed in Ireland. And there's so much within this that I am not being guided to dive in. But the one phrase that's sticking out to me that I wrote down, it says, recently the Amethyst Dragon Kings hosted a pale magenta violet vertical pillar, and I was talking about the vertical rectangle, like, mirror portal. So there's just something here that's coming through about these, like I said before, these like connecting the dot moments of, yes, there's obviously a desire of connection with the idea of union or counterparts on a physical level, and I don't think that should be ignored or, you know, glossed over, or like, I've gone through periods of this experience where, like, I was like, oh, but, you know, what is wrong with me? But it's part of, like, the physicality of Earth life and experiencing, you know, that type of thing. Now, maybe not everyone's experience is going to be romantic, but just the idea of, like, physical connection in some way. And then, you know, it's so, like I was talking about earlier, these layers that come through of, like, yeah, there's, for me, like, this physicality aspect, but then there's all of these different layers that weave through about, again, that whole idea of like, I'm hearing like the ascent journey within that brings you home. And that can have so many layers and meanings in itself, you know? So I think it just wanted to be like, I know that I'm kind of all over the place, but there's just this acknowledgement of like how layered this really can go. And I'm barely scratching the surface here. But yeah, so 2019 was when I was in Ireland, and, you know, I remember having these, as I am looking back at my travel experiences, you know, if you're someone who's into like grid work or like power spots or ley lines and stargates, etc., they always talk about like the universal stargate of the heart. So it always comes back to, of course, within our own auric field, and then the connection to the fields in our own universal time matrix. And so there's like, again, these points when I was talking about 2019, and I just connected today that I was at that, you know, basically on that ley liner, that stargate of the mother arc. And so to me, that's always represented by like an aqua color. And so that could be relevant for someone, but it's also, you know, in conjunction here with like the violet and amethyst, the ray, however you want to look at it. And so I wanted to just mention this because 2017, now 2019, and then I had written another part of this down that I had an experience in, I think it was 2021. So it's like every 2 years, I feel like I'm mentioning. And then of course, well, let me stick there. So in 2021, I had this experience where I had like one of my out-of-body experiences, and I was in this like violet corridor. Well, there were multiple corridors, and I remember it was almost shaped like an octopus, where it had like a center, and then it had these like different ways you could go down. I could only visually see maybe like 4 of them, but I like knew there were more. And I started to walk down this one corridor in this like ultraviolet light, and then I came right back to my body. And I've been asking for so long, like, what was that? And I found something today in my research from the Ascension Glossary that literally talked about the ultraviolet corridors. And so, yeah, at some point I may go further into that, but, you know, and please feel free to do your own research. But for some reason, I'm just being guided to talk about some of these highlight points I'm hearing. And so there's something about, and, you know, we can like bring that back down to earth for a second in terms of like whatever this corridor, it's almost like that ice being melted and being preserved. It's like that corridor, the next piece of that is like about to be shown, is what I'm hearing. So so that's exciting. And now there's, let's see, I actually just felt like a break in the energy, so I'm gonna pause and see if there's anything else. I have to say, my number for this, like, you know, union energy is on the timer right now, 43. So that could be relevant for someone in terms of like a number that you might connect to. Might be like kind of stalking you right now, I'm hearing. 1 second. Okay, so one more thing that wanted to come in. I had another like out-of-body experience, dream type of thing. I can't remember if I spoke about this before. So if I did, I apologize, but it wants to come through a portion of it. And I remember I had a guide actually in this one, which doesn't generally happen. Here and there, I'll meet like beings, but this was like, I I don't know why, but I feel like from what I remember, it was a male. And if you've ever seen Aladdin, the Disney movie, there's a point where oh, you might hear the dog in the background that I'm watching. He rarely barks. Oh my God, another golden retriever. So there's a golden retriever outside. Since I've gotten to the location I'm at now, I have seen, so I can't even tell you how many golden retrievers. So a golden retriever might be relevant. I don't know why I'm hearing Mr. Peanut Butter. Mr. Peanut Butter's from BoJack Horseman. So there might be something there. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. Peanut butter. Anyway, so the phrase that came through this dream were like bliss codes through vapor. 1 second. I paused. I honestly don't remember where it was at, but I was talking about the bliss codes vapor and the experience. So yeah, at one point in Aladdin, there's this character. It was, I believe, Jafar that like turned himself into this older man who looked a little like I don't know what word to use. The only word that's coming to mind is creepy. Anyway, for some reason, this guy in the dream kind of reminded me. He wasn't creepy, but he kind of had that like look where he. If anyone knows what I'm talking about, please like post a picture in the comments because like I can picture him so clearly. Yeah, he like kind of was like short and maybe bald with like a long white beard or something. Anyway, and I just remember this being in my dream kind of looked like that, and he took me into a room like everything was really brown, and like I remember it was like brown carpet and like brown couches, and it was a very just like kind of like maybe outdated, and just it didn't like feel like a nice place to be. Like it was just like, whoa, why am I here? And I remember looking over on a couch, like I turned my head, and this person that I connect with or whatever, it was his dad. Now I've never met his dad, but it was like whatever, and he was like facing the wall and sleeping, and just kind of like in all this like neutral brown outdated stuff. And then I was guided to go into the bedroom, into his bedroom, and I sat down, and there was a computer open, like a laptop, and there were all these viruses, like this was like a while ago, maybe like a year ago. I remember just so many viruses. You know how it has like the X and like the weird face when you see like a computer virus. And so all these viruses were like in the computer. Now we can like break this down into, I'm clearing so much in my throat right now. It is crazy. If you hear me like hiccuping or burping, that's what's happening. And so I was, it wasn't guided to like go through the computer. It was more just like to see all the different viruses. And, of course, when we talk about ourselves as like a software and going through these activations and doing this like literal program clearing, obviously that can reflect the symbolism there. And so I remember just like sitting for a second and like feeling all the heaviness and like the emotions and stuff and the pain and the numbing out and, you know, all these different ways that, you know, the individual that I'm connected to, as well as like the collective that has gone through and that, you know, even like myself have experienced. And so as I was like kind of sitting with that, this guide, I didn't get his name. I didn't recognize him, but he felt very like neutral in terms of like, I shouldn't say the word neutral. He was very calm and like poised, but he felt eager to like show me these things. And I remember saying like, am I allowed to be here? Like, is this okay? And he was like, oh yes, of course. So he showed me around. Anyway, I was really drawn to I went to a different part of the, what's the word I'm looking for? I want to say counter, but it wasn't a counter. It was a bedroom. The desk, I guess, a desk. And there was this beautiful, like, it looked like a hookah kind of, but it was made out of, it was like a crystalline hookah. And I remember it had almost like it was like a mix between a hookah and a jewelry box, but it was made out of like mirror and crystal. And it had like how you would smoke hookah, like the base. And it was like it started off as like a jewelry box. And I remember it was like very like primary colors, like when you have like a little kid, and how, you know, a lot of like nurseries or like preschools have like bright yellow, bright blue, bright red, you know, those like green, like it was very like those colors, but like the mirror silver aspect. And I was like, what is this? And I opened one of like the drawers, and this like hose, like in a hookah, but it was vapor, and it was labeled Bliss codes. And I was like, ooh, do I get to smoke this? And the guy, he was like, yeah. So we sat on the bed and we like inhaled the vapor. So Bliss codes, anyway, have been coming through my channel for a really long time, and I know I'm not the only one. So there's something about this. And when I was finished, I remember then I was able to like bilocate my consciousness into the next like phase of where I was like leaving that apartment, but I was still in it. And then I was like bilocating, and I could see the person I'm connected to where he was, and it was showing me like other things going on that don't feel relevant at this moment. Maybe I'll share another time. But yeah, so there's something about like the idea of integrating these, you know, Bliss codes, if you will, and then like the coming online or back online of our, you know, more, they call them the cities, I believe, for some reason I can't remember how to spell it. I believe it's like SIDDHIS, but I could be incorrect. Let me see. SIDDHI. Oh yeah, I think that's what I said. If not, that's what I meant. The cities. So there's like, you know, the lower and the upper. So it's like, they say you should not pursue the upper cities. It's supposed to be just like a natural, organic evolution of your seeking path. And so but those of us who have these memories, or, you know, these dreams and these astral experiences, or some physical experiences, metaphysical experiences, of, you know, of these possibilities coming through. And so, yeah, I know I have so many things written down of like, whatever, courses, in-person events, like things I want to do that talk about some more of the stuff. But yeah, so anyway, I feel like the idea of these Bliss codes were kind of, you know, please feel free to share like your connection to this. I think we all have like a unique perspective and puzzle piece to like, you know, click in together to see like some of the bigger picture. But it's kind of like the remembrance of, as we clear this like karma miasma, or whatever you want to call it, a lot of names for it, you know, the renewal of our cellular memory. It's like, it's funny, my sister texted me something today, clearing the cache, I guess, on the computer. Yeah, a collection of items of the same type stored in a hidden or inaccessible place. Yeah, it's like when we clear the cache, if I'm saying that right. Cache. I should know this. And I was talking about the computer in the dream. I did not even make that connection. The computer in the dream, and it's like all of those viruses. It's like that's what we're doing, like clearing these hidden or seemingly inaccessible things through clearing the karma miasma and clearing these ancestral patterns and, you know, collective programming. And so it's like, which is leaving the space, you know, we re-enter that or recreate that 0 point. And get to operate more from these bliss codes. Like I was talking about survival mode earlier. It's like we talk about, I even wrote down in the notes of how we're like really as a collective, like detoxing nervous system burnout. And there's a lot of people talking about this, which is so important. And I'm really happy to see that because, that's what we're doing. We're, we lost a lot of our, I don't know if loss is the right word, but we were disconnected from the Earth's natural rhythms. And I think a lot of us who are talking about these things and so passionate about it is because usually what I've noticed is everyone goes through their own internal experience first and then starts to share it. And then that's how we're all like finding each other. And so, yeah, it's really exciting. All right, I think that's all I have today. And if you got this far, thank you. I'm not even sure if I'm going to post this, to be honest, because I'm still like I said in the last time I talked about this topic, I'm still getting comfortable like talking about it publicly. So I feel like I'm just rambling and all over the place. So it's just a part of my expression and my process. And I promise that I'm doing my best to do better in that way. But yeah, so thank you for listening, and please feel free to, comment or share anything that comes through for you or that you just feel called to. My apologies for the barking dog. Okay, thank you.